All right, let's dive into a really powerful story. It's one that happens all around us, on our own streets, but it often goes completely unseen. This explainer is all about what winter really feels like for the stray animals who call our neighborhoods home. And this is it. This is the one idea that just sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about. It so perfectly captures this huge difference in perspective. I mean, the difference between just feeling a little chilly and fighting for your actual life. For most of us, when you think about it, winter is, well, it's just a season, right? It means holidays are coming, you pull out the warmer clothes, you get cozy inside. It's just a change on the calendar that we get ready for. And a lot of times we even look forward to it. But for the animals we don't always see, the ones living on the streets, it's not a season at all. It's a nonstop, desperate struggle. A daily fight just to stay alive against that biting cold and the constant hunger. So this first part of the story is really all about establishing that harsh reality. We're going to look at a world that exists right next to ours, but for the most part stays completely invisible. And this is the painful part, isn't it? These animals are always around. We walk past them every single day. We see them, sure, but do we really see them? So often they just kind of fade into the background, and their struggle just becomes part of the scenery until they might as well be invisible. So their whole world, their whole fight really comes down to two major battles, every day and every night. The cold that never lets up and that desperate, unending search for food. Because think about it, the second that sun goes down, the temperature just plummets. What was a really hard day suddenly becomes a potentially deadly night. The world itself, the very air, becomes a threat. And this is what's so important. This slide breaks down that abstract idea of cold into what it actually is. It's not just a number. It's the real pain of paws freezing to the sidewalk. It's fur that gets wet and can't dry. It's the constant shivering that burns up precious calories. And it's the absolute cruelty of finding a food bowl or a puddle of water only to see it's frozen solid. This really puts it all in perspective. We have our coats, our boots, our heated homes. They have nothing like that to protect them. The only tool they have, their only defense against the brutal cold, is their own instinct. That's it. This quote is just so powerful. It shows how the cold makes everything so much worse. Food scraps are harder to find, and all the energy they need to go looking for food, that's the exact same energy their bodies are using just to stay warm. It's this horrible, vicious cycle, and it's what makes hunger on the streets quieter, but way, way more deadly. And this brings us right to the emotional heart of this whole story. It's a world that's defined by these two extremes. On one hand, constant mortal danger, and on the other, the chance for life-saving kindness. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. This is the one question that is driving their every single move. Every decision they make is all about finding an answer to this. And that desperation is what forces them into some incredibly dangerous spots. And this is such a tragic, perfect example of that. An act of pure survival instinct turns into a total nightmare. A car that just parked has that little bit of warmth in the engine, right? It's a temporary escape. But that exact same safe spot can become a deadly trap in a heartbeat. But then, right when things feel hopeless, the story pivots from that danger to hope. And it shows how these incredibly simple acts of kindness can completely change an animal's entire reality. A bowl of food, a cardboard box to block the wind, a dish of water that isn't a block of ice. These aren't just nice gestures. They are literal lifelines. And that's really the whole point here. These things can feel so small to us, right? Almost nothing in our busy day. But for an animal that is right on the edge, that one bowl of food is the fuel to survive one more night, to keep going. It is literally the difference between life and death. And all of this, it's all building toward one final, really deep thought. It's a question that isn't really aimed at the animals. It's aimed squarely at us. The animals often huddle up. They share whatever tiny bit of body heat they have. So it's a group struggle. But that doesn't make it easy, not at all. It's just a fragile team-up against this huge, overwhelming force, and it is a constant, exhausting battle. And what's so powerful is that there's no answer given. The story doesn't tell us what to think. It just asks the question and lets it hang there in the air. It forces you to just stop for a second and think about our own place in all this, and our connection to the other living things we share this world with. And this is the final thought that stays with you. The problem feels so big, but the solution here is shown to be so incredibly simple.
It's not about some grand, complicated plan. It's about the small things, the little acts that every single one of us can do. A moment of awareness, a simple gesture of kindness. It just leaves you thinking that maybe the biggest challenges aren't solved with complexity, but with just a little bit of compassion.